Hey, what's going on, everybody? Couple of you guys hit me up. You wanted me to do a review on Big Sean's new album, Hall of Fame. I guess you guys wanted me to talk about it because, I had mentioned for you guys that have been listening to me way back when I first got on YouTube. I got a chance to work on Big Sean's first album, Finally Famous. And this had to be maybe the end of 2010, early part of 2011, back when I wasn't making any money for doing my work, nothing like that. I was just on the grind, not making a dime. I done moved up now, but, I remember those days. And, first, before I go get into the review, I want to say that I've met Big Sean on a personal level. Real cool dude, real humble. I remember the first day I met with him. It was me, another co-worker, Sierra, my homeboy Joseph. We all were just, new intern. We was interning for the company. And I remember him coming in, we had our blueprints and everything, how we wanted to, market them out and the plans of how we were going about constructing this album. And, I'm thinking, this cat gonna come in, arrogant, maybe cracking jokes and shit like that because of his music. Because he comes off, kind of arrogant, maybe a little childish. And when he came in, very professional, very humble, respectful to everybody. So, I had a different point of view and a different outlook on Big Sean. But, when it comes to this new project he made, I was expecting to hear some growth. And, he had some type of growth. He had a track on there called Ashley where he was talking about, his girlfriend having, his girlfriend's mother having cancer and, their breakup and everything. And he tried to get deep on that one. Then he had another record called Nothing Is Stopping You. And this was where he was basically saying how he's giving back to those artists that are trying to come up. Because he was explaining how it was a guy that came up to him rapping the same way he did with Kanye West. And, just relating it to how Kanye West gave him a chance. And now he's giving this guy a chance. So, I saw him try to be deeper on his album, but Big Sean is one of those artists where it's very hard for him to transgress his inner thoughts and his inner emotions onto an actual record and album. And it's like, I've seen him on the mixtapes or on his past album or whatever try to get deep, but it's like it doesn't really convey over onto the record. And if anything, I would say he's lacking. That would be it. And I know a lot of people complain about, his voice and, some people say he's corny. Some of the things he does say from here and there, is corny. But all in all, the guy's bars, I think, goes over people's heads sometimes. Sometimes he'll say, I'm not going to say sometimes, but quite often he says some clever things that I think people just don't really pay attention. Or maybe they're deaf. Not deaf, but they're blinded by his voice, that they're not paying attention to what he's actually saying. And sometimes I just think his bars go over people's head, but he says some slick stuff pretty often. And one of the tracks that stand out on here, which I thought was hilarious, was the MILF song. I think that's probably the most clever and interesting track on the album. The the track is hilarious. He's basically speaking from someone who's dating a older woman and she has kids, and he just goes on and it's clever. The rhymes he put on there, and it was featuring Nicki Minaj and Juicy J. I like when Nicki Minaj came on the track and she started basically rapping from the older woman's perspective. So I thought that was clever on her part, along with Big Sean doing his thing. Juicy J I could have done without him, but I like what Nicki Minaj and Big Sean did with the record. So that's probably the most outstanding track. I know a lot of people, they heard the track, it was like, well, what is hip hop coming to? Hip hop is trash now, and when you can make songs like this. But the thing is that a lot of you guys are very one-minded when it comes to making an actual hip hop album, or you guys just don't know how people listen to hip hop albums. Nobody really wants to hear a album that's pretty much the same thing all the way through. It's good to throw a little humor in there. It's good to get serious. It's good to get clever. It's good to have all those different perspectives when you're making an album. So I think him putting that charismatic, and putting that side of his personality onto the track, it was good for the album. Some people like the track, some people don't. It's kind of to each his own. But a lot of times you gotta lighten up. You gotta have fun with music. Music is not supposed to always be, so super political or super social. A lot of times we have to fall back. We have to just have fun. You have to have those feel good records, or those records where you just want to turn up or party or whatever. You have to have those type of records. We need balance in everything. But all in all, I would give this project maybe a 7.5. I thought the first album was better. I'm not speaking from a biased point of view. I just thought it was a better album, but I would just like to see Big Sean grow. I would like to see him grow as far as his music and actually tap into that inner emotion and things that he's gone through coming from Detroit or coming from a certain situation. Actually convey that onto the album, and one guy that does that very well is not Big Sean, I'm tripping, Big Crit. Big Crit is somebody that when he speaks from his heart, or he talks about social issues or political issues or whatever, you feel what he's talking about. It's almost like when Tupac would do it. It's not just him talking about a certain subject. You actually feel where he's coming from, and I think that's something that Big Sean hasn't tapped into yet. But all in all, I like his energy, that young energy that he brings to certain records or an album. He reminds me of that kid, maybe in high school that we all knew that, maybe he had a good paying job and he was still in high school. Maybe his parents were rich or whatever, and he'll come to the school where, the J is on that hasn't even came out yet. He's got the name brand clothes, just basically just flossing on everybody. That popular kid that just, people kind of flock to him because he's charismatic, or he just got the fresh clothes, so everybody just kind of flocks to him, and I get that vibe from Big Sean when I listen to his music. It's kind of like that happy, fun, let's have a good time type of music that he makes. But that's pretty much my opinion. I thought it was a decent album, 7.5 out of 10. That's pretty much what I have to say about it. You guys give me your feedback if you've heard the album, but I think when it comes to us listening to albums, you have to have an open mind with certain things. Everything, hip-hop is not just being serious or being political or always making, social issue type of tracks. Hip-hop is everything. It's talking about social issues. It's talking about political issues. It's talking about the street life. It's talking about just those good times with our family. It's those club records. It's everything. Hip hop is not just one thing. We have to take that into consideration. But at the same time, I feel like we need balance, which is something that's lacking in hip hop today. But you guys give me your feedback. Let me know what you think about Big Sean in general or whatever, or about the album as a whole. I'm out, y'all. Peace.